Hi guys, my name is Laura and I come to you from Northern California. This is my first podcast. I have been wanting to do this for quite some time. There's always a million reasons not to do it, and it's just time. Today is the day. Today is Sunday, March 18th, 2018, and today is the kickoff of my very first podcast. Pretty excited. Like I said, there's a million reasons why not to do this, but I want to share with you guys. I knit all the time. It's a part of my daily life, and I get so much out of watching podcasts. My favorite podcasts are Knitting Expat. Mina Phillips, was my very first knitting podcast that I watch, and I still watch her religiously today. Definitely my favorite. And other favorites that fall in there are A Homespun House, Maker's Haven. I really like Woolberry Fiber podcast. She's pretty new to the podcasting scene, but I like her a lot, among many others. Amy's Little Kingdom by Amy Self. I really like her as well. So I get so much out of watching these podcasts, and I get yarn ideas, I get needle recommendations, tool recommendations, and I feel like I have a lot to give to the knitting community as well. I really enjoy teaching other people how to knit. I've taught almost everybody in my knitting group how to knit socks 2 at a time. So, I don't know, I have a passion for knitting, I have a passion for teaching others, and I feel that I have something to add to this community. So hopefully you find my podcast enjoyable to watch, pick up your knitting project, and get started, and I'll get started too. So like I said, my name is Laura, and I've been knitting for about 1.5 years now. I am self-taught. I taught myself through YouTube, through tutorials. I wish I had some great story of how my mom or my grandmother taught me how to knit, but it was just me and the computer and trial and error. And I have taught my daughter how to knit, and hopefully she'll carry that tradition on. But that's just me. I'm a DIYer, and I also taught myself how to dye yarn as well. And that's been a lot of fun, and I'll get into more of that a little bit later. But I do sell my yarn at a local yarn shop in my area called Yarns on First. It's in Napa, California. And I sell project bags there, I sell sock kits there, and I will be starting up my Etsy store as well. So where can you find me? I am under Just Yarnin Designs. You can find me there on Instagram under Just Yarnin Designs, and on soon to be Etsy under Just Yarnin Designs. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I'm in Northern California, and we homeschool. I have 3 kids and a wonderful husband, 2 dogs, and I surprisingly have a lot of knitting time. Like I said, we homeschool, and you think that that would be contradictory, but it really isn't, because while my kids are taking classes somewhere or doing a PE activity, I just kind of get to sit and knit. I feel like 1.5 years ago when I taught myself how to knit, I was thinking that I found myself on my phone a lot when I was waiting for the kids, and it just wasn't productive. I'd be playing games or whatnot, and so that's why I taught myself how to knit originally, is because it kept my hands busy. It just felt more productive than just being on my phone trolling social media. So that's one of the reasons why I taught myself how to knit. I've always been a crafter. I love crafts, but so my husband is really supportive. He tells me all the time that he loves that I knit, that he loves that when I am driving around town and I'm sitting and waiting for my kids to be done somewhere, I actually have something productive, and I can bring my knitting with me wherever I go. Some projects are easier than others to bring, but you know, nonetheless, I do have quite a bit of knitting time and not as much dyeing time as I would like, but I do have some good knitting time. And yeah, so like I said, I sell at my local yarn shop. I'm trying to design a sock pattern. I have designed it, I've had it tested, but there are just a few changes that I need to make. So hopefully that'll be out on Ravelry too. You can also find me on Ravelry at justyarnindesigns as well. So what am I wearing? That's number one. So this is my second ever shawl. I'll take it off here. This is the Color Shifting Shawl by Jennifer Fish. This was featured on, so this is the shawl. This was featured on Knit Picks. They had it as a kit. Oh, there we go. And I was reading the reviews for the yarn, and it said it was a bit scratchy, and some people aren't affected by that. I really am. I have a hard time wearing scratchy yarns, especially around my neck. So I chose to just dye up my own yarn, and it was all, let's see if I can, I'm gonna have to take this off again. It was all inspired by this yarn here, this one. And I just decided I can do this. And I was still new at dyeing. I didn't feel like I was master dyer. I could dye exactly what I wanted. It was just kind of by mishap when I got the colors that I wanted, but I'm gonna try. And it was such a huge success. I got this salmon color here, and these are all one of a kind. There are no names for them, but so this salmon color here, this is like a light silver gray. I did this speckled yarn, and it has some of the salmon, some of the purple that you see here, and a little bit of green. But so yeah, these are just all one-off colorways that I dyed purposefully for this shawl. And I honestly would have been pretty bummed if I had bought 5 skeins of yarn for this shawl. I love the way the shawl turned out. It was very easy to work. I like the lace in it. I like the size of it. I like the shifting colors. I love all that. But I had so much yarn left over. Even my main color, the color that I did the most here, I still have enough that I have done a pair of socks in the same yarn. And so I feel like I have 5 leftover skeins enough to do a pair of socks, which is what I'll do with them or use them in another color work project. But I feel like 20 gram skeins probably would have been enough, maybe 100 gram of the or 50 gram even of the main color. But I just feel like it would have been such a waste if that's what I wanted, if that's all that I had the yarn for. If I didn't have another project in mind, I would have been pretty bummed that I had spent all that money for such a small amount of yarn on this shawl. But it is what it is. Like I said, I love the shawl, and I'm really glad that I dyed the yarn for it, so I didn't feel like such a waste. But these were on a US size 6. My needle of choice are ChowGoo needles. I typically use their circular needles, so I used a ChowGoo US 6 with a 32-inch cable on this one. Loved it, love the ChowGoos, love the pattern, love the colors together. So great shawl pattern. So what am I working on? I should mention that my favorite things to work on are socks and sweaters. I typically always have a pair of socks on the needles. I kind of have a pair of socks on the needles, but I didn't bring them to show you because they've been on the needles for a while. They've been on since December, so. But I do kind of have a pair of socks on the needles. I'm just not currently working on them right now. So, works in progress. My favorite work in progress right now is the Barn Stable Shawl, and that's by Lisa Hands. So I'm using US size 6 and US size 7 ChowGoo 32-inch circular needles on this here. But look at the color work on this. So this will be a shawl. The majority of the shawl will be done in this color work, and then I'll have a small section of the green as well, if you can't tell. So let me show you. This here is my main color. This is a Dove Swan Island yarn. You see all that? There we go. And it is in the Dove colorway. There we go, Dove colorway. I feel like the lighting isn't giving it justice here, but it's just a nice creamy gray undertone color. And then my contrast color is also from Swan Island in the Eucalyptus colorway. And this is really coming out more of a grayish on my screen, but it is a eucalyptus green. I kind of feel like it's an army green. But it is a DK weight, and let's see, it's a 100% merino washable wool is what this here says. But I'm really having a fun time with this project. It's worked with lifted stitches, and I don't feel like that gives away the pattern. It does say that in the pattern description, but it's really easy. It feels like it should be complex, and you do have to pay attention to the pattern. So it's not something that I can do while I'm having a conversation with my kiddos or busy doing other things. It's one that I have to sit down and focus on and knit, but that's okay. I like having those projects that are that need a little bit more concentration. I just feel like that kind of works with my brain, and it helps to keep things interesting for me. So I like that. But I also will have a simple project going as well. So that's my Barnstable shawl. I don't know how much I still have quite a bit left. I have another repeat of that section, of that color work section that you saw there, and then a little bit more after that. But love that pattern. I saw it on a mannequin at a local yarn shop and knew that I needed to find yarn for that. So my next work in progress is the Bray cap. So this is what it's going to look like when it's done there. I love the lace work on there. I love the cabling on there. For the first time ever, I did the tubular cast on. I can't say I love the tubular cast on. I'm hoping that I change my mind once I start wearing it, but this is as far as I've gotten. I'm actually changing needle size right now, which is why there's all these needles there. So let's see, this is a Chowgoo US 5. This is out of my new interchangeable set. I'll share that with you in a minute. And I'm going on to a US 8 Chowgoo, size 16-inch circular needles. And funny thing about this yarn is I made a hat out of it, and it was a cable hat. The brim fit perfectly, but once I got done with the hat portion of it, like the cap portion of it, was so tight that it looked very awkward. It felt super tight and awkward on my head, and so I just took it out. But I don't know, I got this at a local yarn shop. So it's a pink with some gray undertones, and I don't know if you can see that. Maybe that's a little bit better, but and then I got this gray pom-pom from Knit Picks that will go with that on the top. The pattern doesn't call for a pom-pom, but it just looks fun. So I'm really excited about this. I love the yarn. It's a really nice yarn. I'm excited about the cable pattern. A friend of mine did the same pattern, and she said it was fairly easy, no time at all, and yeah, so that hopefully that'll be an easy knit for me, but I'm really excited about that pattern as well. And my last work in progress right now is a Coziest Memory blanket. Now, my blanket, I'm using Chowgoo's, no surprise there, that's my go-to. I'm using DPN's size US 2. I love these needles. I just lent some to a friend to try on her cozy memory blanket, and she loved it as well. So this is a mitered square coziest memory blanket. I think it's called My Coziest Memory. I'll put it down below for you. But so I have 80 squares right now. My goal is to do 15 rows by 25 rows. So this is how wide it will be. Oh, there we go. But it still has some length left to go. So one of my tips for you is I start many rows. I don't like to go straight down a row. I just finished this square, like literally just finished it before the podcast. But I like to have choices. So I have a few rows going, and then when I pick out a yarn, I will kind of decide, should it go here? Should it go here? Here, you know, where should it go on my opening spot? So it gives me 3 to 5 spots where I could put it. So I've dyed a lot of these yarns. I've bought a lot of these yarns. I'll show you my acquisitions, some new yarns that I've gotten for this blanket. But there is a local yarn shop near me, a little ways away, but it's definitely worth the drive. And they sell their yarn by the gram. So I can go in and just get 5 grams of any leftover. It's only their leftover yarn, so it's not their entire shop. That would be crazy. Lovely, but crazy. So any leftover yarns that they have that maybe customers have brought back, or they are saving for projects or for scrap blanket, people like me, she will sell by the gram. So I'll go in, get 5 or 10 grams. I'm okay repeating colors on here. I'm sure as I get going, I will repeat some of the leftover yarns that I have especially. But, you know, this is a really fun project, and I go to a knit group on Thursday nights at a local coffee shop here. And what's really fun is that so many people have contributed to this blanket, and I remember where the yarns have come from. I remember, have I dyed that yarn? Did I get it from a local yarn shop? Did I purchase the yarn specifically for the blanket? What pair of socks did I do for this blanket? It's really quite fun. So my girlfriends and I and my knit group, we all share yarn. When I'm done with the pair of socks, I roll up 5 grams for them and vice versa. It's really been fun. Truly a memory blanket. So that's a lot of fun. So those are my works in progress that I have going on right now. The next thing that I want to share, my finished objects. Some of these have been done a little while, but truth be told, this is my 3rd recording of the podcast. So I recorded just to see what I was like on the video, but I didn't have any intention of publishing it. I recorded again with the intention of publishing and put it off because, again, there's a million reasons why I don't want to put myself out there. I think fear of failure, I mean, that's number 1 for all of us. But yeah, so this is number 3, and I'm telling myself that I'm going to edit this video today and get it up today and just put it out there and just be confident within myself. I am who I am. This is me. And yeah, I should be proud of that. I think we all should be proud of who we are and the journeys that we've had to get us right to where we are. So moving on to finished objects. So this sweater, this is the Lily Cardigan by Amy Self, Amy's Little Kingdom. Again, like I said, she's one of my favorite podcasters. She's just very sweet, very soft and warm and very inviting. And this was her first pattern that she published. This is the Lily Cardigan. So look at this cable work here. Look at. Here, I'll show you up close here. Like, look at that. The detail on here is beautiful. She did a ribbed collar, or twisted rib, sorry, twisted 1x1 rib on the sleeves and the waistline here. And then she also did, which I really like too, going down the front here, let's see, I'm going to stand up. So going down the front, she did this cable detail here as well. It's very simple, but it just ties it all together. The other thing that I really liked here was the pocket. I've never done a pocket before. This was so fun just to try to figure out how to do the pocket. I feel like it's pretty seamless. If you look close enough, there's a few mistakes, but I'm sure in all of our work we have mistakes, so no sweat. But the pocket was a lot of fun. So the yarn that I used was, I dyed strictly for this project, so it's not a colorway that I can repeat, but it is like a honey mustard. My light's coming in from over here, so honey mustard, yellow color. I love this colorway. This one has not made it onto my blanket yet though, so I think that'll be the next one that I put on. It's done in a fingering weight yarn, so it's a very lightweight sweater. When I first started this sweater, I thought it was going to take me forever. I thought, this is going to take me 6 months to do. It was a little tedious to get started, and I think that was because I was trying to get used to the cabling pattern itself, and you got the increases, and you got the sleeve stitches on there, the shoulder, so you have all the stitches on your needles, and it's just kind of slow going a little bit. But as I got going, right after I separated from this for the sleeves, it went so much faster. I was completely surprised. I started this New Year's Day. This is my New Year's cast on, and I finished it like a week before February ended. So probably, I don't know. So it took me about 7 weeks, I guess, 7-8 weeks to start, or to finish, to finish. So yeah, once I split for the sleeves, it was very easy. I feel like the cable pattern just came easier. I could kind of see what was coming next, and that's the case for a lot of cable patterns. Is, you know, once you get going on them, then you can, you know what's going to be next. And yeah, so I love this sweater. This will be a great springtime sweater. Where I live, we get a lot of wind, and it's often, you could have a 100-degree day here in the summertime, but then in the morning and the evenings, it gets quite chilly. I mean, you could have a 40-degree difference easily on a summer day. And so oftentimes I just need a little sweater, and I'm thinking about doing another one, maybe in a navy or just another neutral kind of color. But we'll see. Maybe I'll pick a different pattern because that's fun too. So that's finished object number 1. Like I said, I finished that last month, but since this is my first podcast, it's still a new finished object for you guys. The next one, so I am part of Mina Phillips Knit Along. She has 2 sock knit alongs going on right now. So she has the Wanderlust and the Cozy Sock Collection, and how she does that is the Wanderlust Collection she does on the odd months, and then the Cozy Sock Collection she does on the even months. So if you don't want to join both, you don't have to. You can just join one, and then you would get a new pattern every 2 months on the first of the odd or even months, depending on which collection you decide to join. And you have 2 months to finish it. It's a knit along, so she has a Ravelry group. You can post your finished objects, and she's doing prizes and all kinds of stuff. Lots of fun. It teaches me new techniques, which is really great. There have been a few times where I think, you know, I probably would not have picked up this pattern or this stitch technique on my own, but because it's part of the knit along, I have done it, and I'm really glad. Every sock that I've done has been, I love the finished item that I have, the finished sock when it's done. There have been a few patterns like this one here that I'll show you that it was tough to do, but I'm really glad that I learned the technique. And again, it pushes me because I would not have naturally picked up this pattern. So this is the Warm and Snug sock, part of the Cozy Sock Collection. So this one here is more for intermediate knitters. It's for somebody who wants a little bit more of a challenge. But do you see these little ribs on there? I don't want to share the technique with you because it's her pattern, but yeah, I mean, you're making these little ribs. I almost feel like it's a sock warmer. So I grew up in the 80s, or a leg warmer, sorry. It's been a while. 80s were a long time ago, but I kind of feel, it feels a little, feels slouchy, but it's not. And on the inside, you would never think, but it's totally smooth on the inside of the sock. So while it doesn't feel funny on your leg or on your foot, and then what she did do is just did a solid stockinette on the foot so that the bumps, because I think once they were in your shoes, like it would probably compress and probably not feel very comfortable, but it's almost like a little leg warmer on the top. So this is one of the harder, more intermediate patterns that she has out, but this is on Frolicking Feet yarn. It is called Copper Pennies. It is a 100% superwash merino yarn. There we go, Copper Pennies. So I got this yarn in Texas. One of the things that I really love to do, I don't live in Texas, but I was there visiting, and one of the things that I really enjoy doing when I visit someplace is to go to a local yarn shop and pick up a skein of yarn. It's like a souvenir. I figure, you know, I could spend 20 bucks on a mug or 20 bucks on something that will maybe get tossed in a few months, or I can buy a skein of yarn and it serves as a project, but then I get something at the end too. I have a final project at the end, and so that was my souvenir yarn from Texas when I went back in July. So I've had it for a little while, but fun yarn. Ironically, it's the San Francisco 49er colors as well, which I didn't really think about when I bought it, but bonus, because we're 49er fans living near the Bay. So the next one is also part of the Mina Phillips sock collections. This one here is the Wanderlust Collection, and this she gives out on the odd months. So this was the March sock. This pattern is Derive. So it's a very simple pattern. It has some eyelet work in there, but other than that, it's just knits and purls. And you know, the way that she puts it all together, it's very simple, but it gives a really nice effect. So I did a garter stitch heel. So my heel of choice is the German short row. I like how smooth it is. I like that I don't have to pick up stitches. I'm not a fan of picking up stitches, so I really enjoy this heel. What I've noticed about when I switched to the garter stitch heel, I just feel like it gives more cushion and it just feels more sturdy, and we kind of wear our socks hard here. So yeah, I really, really enjoy that. Sometimes I'll do contrasting colors, but for this vibrant color way, I just did the same throughout. But this is Allegria. It's a Carnival collection. So what is really neat about this is, I'm just gonna read this. So it's hand painted, but it is, it's a nonprofit organization which assembles women in cooperatives scattered throughout the countryside of Uruguay. The aim of the organization is to bring economic and social opportunities to rural women. So it's a fair trade organization, which bonus, I mean, this is great. So if you have a chance to support this company, I definitely recommend it. It's a 75 superwash merino, 25% polyamide. I like the yarn. It's really soft. It feels durable. Yeah, really fun colorway. And honestly, so here's my leftovers here. So when I caked this up, my daughter was in the room and she says, "Mom, can those be my socks? Can you?" And she's 13. So like, yes. I kind of owed her another pair of socks. I've done a couple for my son, couple for my other daughter. So it was her turn anyways, but I'm a little bit jealous. I'm hoping that I have two of these, two about 20 gram little skeins left. So I'm hoping that maybe I can get a little pair of ankle socks for myself out of these. I'm kind of excited about that. Hey, so those are my finished objects. So moving along to what I want to work on next. I mean, who isn't a Ravelry junkie out there? There's so many great projects out there, but I do have some specific goals in mind for these next upcoming months of what I want to do. So one of them is I want to learn brioche. If you have any tips or tricks, let me know. Please send me a message on Instagram. And then and I've been watching videos and whatnot, so brioche, and I also want to do a little bit of color work. I've never done color work. The Barnstable shawl is the closest that I've gotten, but I don't feel like that counts because I'm just slipping stitches, so it's not really color work. I don't have to worry about my tension and dominant colors and whatnot, but I've been doing my research. I'm super excited to get started. Not quite sure when I'll get started, but sometime in the next month or two. So what is in the queue? What's up next? The Starfall, I'm going to show you a picture. The Starfall Colorwork Sweater. This is by Jennifer Steingass. I love this. Let's see. How close can I get of this here? But I love this project. And so while I was at Stitches West, first time at Stitches West this year. So while I was at Stitches West, I picked up some yarn for that. And let me get it out here. So this here is going to be, I bought all the colors at Yoss. This is Beetroot from Yoss Yarn. It's a DK weight. It is 231 yards, 100 grams, 80-10-10, so merino cashmere nylon. But I love the deep color in this. This deep beetroot color is the name of it here. So I got this one for the main color. And then I got both also these from Yoss Yarns as well, but this will be my color work section. So pink currant and shiitake. So these are my three colors. So I'm going to alter the pattern a little bit, but because I mean, it's hard to see here in this picture, but there are 4 colors that she does the color work out of. And I'm gonna try to minimize it to 3. I just thought it would be an easier way to start. And it says that you can alter it however you wish, so I don't think it'll be too difficult. But I love these colors. They're very soft. I love the cashmere blend, but super excited to see how this is all going to knit up. So this is my color work inspiration here. And yeah, I figure once I get the yarn, there's no backing out. I'm not going to spend that kind of money and then not do the project. So really excited to get that going on the needles. And I figure, you know, I mean, it's almost springtime, so I know that this Starfall will not be something that I will wear this winter. So I'm giving myself plenty of time to get it all going for next winter. The next project that's in the queue is the Ramble by Andrea Mowry. So this is my brioche pattern that I'll start. I'm not quite sure what, I'm gonna dye up the yarn for this. With this pattern here, you kind of need like 1.5 skeins of yarn for each color, and so I don't want to have to buy 2 skeins of each color. I'm going to instead dye it up myself and do 1.5 of each color. So as a dyer, I feel like that's one of the advantages, but a little bit more work. That's okay though. So I'm kind of thinking maybe doing something along the line of like a deep blue teal with a little bit of orange in there, and then doing the contrast color orange. Not quite sure. I may just keep it super simple for my first brioche project, but we'll see. I don't know. Who knows? So that's, and then the next thing that I have in my queue would be the next Cozy Sock collection from Mina Phillips in her, for the next pattern that comes out on April 1st. I look forward to the first of the month, really. It's, I know, kind of silly. So I'm a huge Dutch Bros fan. Dutch Bros Coffee, if you're not familiar with them. Based out of Oregon, and they're my little favorite drive-through coffee stop. And so on the first of the month, this is why I'm excited about the first of the month. So I get my pattern from Mina Phillips on the first of the month, and then also on the first of the month, I get a free Dutch Bros sticker, and they're always so darn cute. So if you're not familiar with Dutch Bros, look them up. They're fun. They always have loud music going and just a fun crowd to visit daily while I go grab my daily fix of coffee. So yeah, so first of the month is always fun for me. So cozy sock, the next pattern will be, my next sock project will be a cozy sock, I'm sure. I always wait to pick out my yarn for that to see what I think would look good in that pattern. You know, sometimes it's stripes, sometimes it's more of a solid, a tonal, or sometimes a variegated. Just depends on what the pattern is and what I think would look good for that. So next thing would be my acquisitions. What have I picked up? So I'm going to share, even though it was back in February with Stitches West, I'm still going to show what I got from Stitches West because it was my first stitches. It was a lot of fun. So my first acquisition was actually, I had a friend pick up because she was going on Friday. I couldn't go until Saturday, so I had a feeling that the Knit Picks Felice yarn would be gone. And, you know, some of the sock patterns that I do call for a self-striping yarn. That's just what they look naturally the best in, and I never get self-striping yarn. I have dyed self-striping yarn one time, and it was a lot of work. So I just wanted to have some stuff, maybe for some gift socks, and Felice yarn is really good for that because you can pop it in your machine, and it says that machine wash, tumble dry, low. So I got 4 different sets of the Felice yarn. So they come in 50 gram skeins. So these will be, you can see those colors there. This one here is the Hawaiian Shirt Collection. Self-striping yarn, Knit Picks Felice sock yarn. And then I got Captain Nemo colorway. But you know, when you give somebody a pair of socks, you either have to be sure that they're going to take care of them, that they're going to wash them by hand and dry them. And a lot of the superwash you can throw in the wash, but that they get hung dry as well. But this, I feel like, would be such a great gift pair of socks because it just seems like it's a little bit more durable yarn, probably a little bit more processed, a little bit more durable, so it's nice and easy for the, you know, for the recipients to take care of them and not feel bad if they accidentally get ruined. So that was Captain Nemo, and then Hopscotch is another fun one, some greens and pinks, teals, purples, and there maybe, go. And then the last one of the Knit Picks Felice yarn that I got is the Cheshire Grin. Some purples and teals in there. So I have dyed with this, with the Felice yarn, and it came out great, and it was fun to knit up, so I've done that, but I have not actually I've not knit with their Felice yarn, so I can't really give a review about it other than I bought it, and I'm excited to use it and see how it knits up. And then some more acquisitions at Stitches West. I got from the Black Cat fibers. Okay, so the cool thing about this is, so I visited her booth twice. This is the, this is Halloween, is the colorway on this one. It's a sock yarn, fingering weight, 4-ply superwash merino, 75%, 25% nylon, 463 yards, and 100 grams. So when I visited her booth, she had so many beautiful colorways, I literally could care less which one I got. I just wanted one of her yarns. And I had already made my sweater quantity purchase. So I probably would have bought a lot more if I didn't have the sweater quantity purchase behind me. But so we were with some kiddos, my friend and her 2 little boys went to Stitches West with us, and they were troopers. They did so good, but with kids, I have 3, so I know this. Sometimes they're just done. They're done. And we could tell they were getting tired, and so we're like, okay, you know, let's start heading out. I'm like, okay, I really want to go to Black Cat Fibers because I really wanted to buy something. So I literally picked, like within a minute, just picked 3 random skeins off the shelf and just asked my friend's son, which one do you like? And this is the one he picked. And I couldn't be happier. Like literally, he could have picked anything on the wall and I would have just loved it. So Not sure which pair of socks this is going to be yet, but I love the deep colors. I love the color choices. If you're not familiar with Black Cat Fibers, check them out. It doesn't tell me where they're from, but their website is blackcatfibersllc.etsy.com. I'll put it on the screen there too. So love, love, love. The next acquisition that I got, when my friend and I, when we went to Stitches, we were on the lookout for scraps for our blanket. And I came across Can & Hand dyes, and these are just random minis. They're such fun colors. They are, I think she says on here, like anywhere between 18 to 20 yards, which is perfect for my blanket. That's about how long it takes me, how much I need for a square, but just really fun colors. I kind of wish I would have bought more, but again, I had bought the sweater quantity already, so wasn't quite in the budget. So I really wish that more hand dyers would have these little minis, the little 5-gram minis. For the scrap blankets are such a popular thing right now, and I just wish that more dyers would do that, or, you know, when they're doing their projects, if they have leftovers, that they would sell their leftovers. But who knows, maybe one day they will. It's fun to hunt. The next thing is at a local yarn store, the one that I was talking about earlier. It's in Lafayette, California. It's called Busy Sticks. And this is the one that sells their yarn by the gram, and so they skein them up or cake them up. Yeah, so these are the ones that I got the last time that I was there. I love the variety that she has. Just fun yarn. So that I got those for my blanket, picked up some of those for my friend as well. And yeah, so moving on. So last acquisition is my Chowgoos. I have researched these for months and months and months, and I had to buy a couple more needles for the braid cap, and I thought, okay, I can either spend the money towards 2 needles, or I can put that towards a set. And so I just got the small set. Those are the most common needles that I use, besides the sock needles, but then I only use size 1s and 1.5s for my socks, the Chowgoo. So I got 2 being used right now on that braid cap. But I like the little case that it comes in. I like that all of my needles will be organized. So far, it seems like the needles are really tight at the joints, and there's no gaps or lips or anything at the joints, but you know, then I also got the cables as well. So it came with 2 8s, a 14, and a 22 cable, and then everything that you needed to put them together, take them apart. But these are the twist set is what I got. I really like the stainless steel. It works with my hands better than like the bamboo or the wooden needles or plastic needles. That's my choice. So really excited about those. I love Amazon 1-day shipping, because I got it I think I ordered it at like 11 o'clock at night, and it came the very next day at like 4 or 5, I don't know. So really excited about that. I love Amazon 1-day shipping. Yeah, so those are all my acquisitions, and I usually don't have this much yarn acquired unless I've actually dyed it myself. But I think just with Stitches and kind of getting ready for my up-and-coming projects, that's what happened. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about my future plans, not just with projects, but my plan here is to try to record every other week on Sunday nights, and so it's a good time for me to sit and record a podcast. So we'll see how it goes, but I'd really like to sit and chat with you guys every couple of weeks if I can. And my next goal would be to get my Etsy shop up, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the colorways that will be in my Etsy shop. And so let me say that while I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, I don't dislike Harry Potter. It's just not my favorite. But what is very favorite in our house is Star Wars and Marvel. So that's where my heart is Star Wars and Marvel. So you will be seeing some Marvel colorways. I have not created them yet, but they will be coming up soon. But I have created some Star Wars colorways. So one of my favorite is Kylo, is what I am calling this colorway. So this is, can you see this little bit of red in here? Okay, so when you knit this up, it is mostly black. It has little specks of silver in there, and then it has lightsaber little red streaks going throughout it. And then I did a red contrast for the toes and the heel for this. So this is colorway number 1. You should see this going up in my shop. I'll be doing pre-orders for these. So I do have some in stock, but then I will be doing pre-orders as well. So I have that one there, Kylo. My next favorite would be R2-D2. I love those little droids. So this is a silver with some black specks in there, and then with a chunk of the blue, with a blue mini to match. So this is 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend, 463 yards to 100 grams, and then this is a, I want to say 90 some yards, maybe 93 yards for my 20 gram skein here. So 120 gram skein. So these two are the ones that have the minis with them. And then the next two are just standalone sock yarn. And so up in the shop right now, I will only be having, when I start my shop, I will only be doing the very basic sock yarn. I'm hoping to expand into DK and other weights and other textures, but for right now, these are my kickoff colorways. This is what we're gonna have in the Etsy shop. So this one here is called Galaxy. Lots of fun colors on this one here. So it has the black going through it. Really like gorgeous. I cannot wait to knit this up actually. That's Galaxy. And then Stardust is this guy here. So it has some blues and some pinks in there. So Stardust. So those will be in my Etsy shop. I'm hoping I can get that up and running this week. Wish me luck. I'll post it on my Instagram once my shop is up and running. So those are all, they will all be available when I open up my shop this week for pre-order. Again, I have some skeins already dyed up, so if you're one of the first ones, then you'll get those. First. You'll have priority on those, basically. So the next thing that I'm also going to have in my shop, which I'm really excited about, are some project bags. So I sell my project bags at Yarns on First in Napa, California. So Kylo Ren to go with my Kylo yarn. And then I have an R2-D2 to go with my R2-D2 yarn. And then this is just kind of a one-off Wonder Woman, because Marvel will be my next, the next line that I do. So I have these 3 project bags that will be up in the shop as well. And I'm going to do a giveaway as well. So if you buy one of my yarns through March, again, shop is coming up. It will be there. So if you buy one of my yarns through March, then I will enter your name into a drawing and I will give away one of each of these bags. So if you buy, the more yarn you buy, the more chances you have, but it has to be a full skein. So yeah, if you just buy a mini, it won't count. But if you buy a 100 gram skein, for every 100 gram skein you purchase, I will enter your name into a drawing and I will be giving away 3 bags. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so just a little way to kick off the business, kick off the dye side of things. I'm really excited about it, and I'm hoping that you guys can hold me accountable to make things move a little bit faster here. So come visit me on Instagram. That's where I post a lot of things, projects that are going on and whatnot in progress. And again, that's at justyarnindesigns on Instagram. And it was so fun to do this. Again, I'm hoping to do it every couple weeks and get to share with you guys. And I would love for you guys to share with me. So tag me in pictures, anything that you want to show me. Sweaters, socks, hats. If you have a favorite pattern, let me know. I always am so inspired by what other people are doing. So yeah, shout out to me on Instagram or just in the comments below. And that's it. This is me. This is Laura. And it was so nice chatting with you guys. Until next time, bye-bye.